All right. Welcome to the 30th episode, Halloween episode.
On the 30th.
Oh, nicely done.
There we are. Looking good, everyone.
Yeah, my eyes are hurting a bit, but...
Yeah, they look a little different. Mark, you look different today.
Something's off. Can't quite put my finger on
it. John, did you get a haircut?
Not get a haircut?
You know, I took off my bald wig for the day, man.
Oh, I was going to say, that's right. Yeah, you used to actually have less hair, so it's not a haircut. You grew hair. Oh, yeah. Looking good. Looking really good.
You know, these are polarized, so I can't see.
All right, you guys. Well, across the top, you probably recognize the three of us. Down below me, which side am I? Down this way. Here, do your Brady Bunch thing. Alan, you've been on before. And then to the left of Alan, we've got a special guest over here. Yeah, down below Mark. Jason, you've been on before, but in a little bit different capacity. You want to just quickly say hello and give a quick introduction?
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Jason Koo. I'm a developer advocate now for Zenbird. I had previously been on the show with Always AI, touting computer vision, and I still play with the computer vision stuff. But Zenbird is a communications platform, so a very, very different space, not IoT.
That's all right. It's not a problem. You're a very valued community member, and we are glad to have you here. Yeah. And now if I have communication questions and issues, I know who to reach out to. So
I will get you those answers.
Awesome. All right. Mark,
you, Jason, are here because you work on a Halloween project with Balena, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I am working on one, and I guess we can talk about when we get around to that. But yes.
Absolutely. Mark, you had queued up the agenda. What's first on our agenda today?
So let's start with what's on your desk, because we have a lot of projects today to show to the people. So let's jump to what's on your desk.
What's on your desk?
Virtual Chris. I thought Chris was actually joining us today. What? We had to go virtual. All right, that's fine.
It never gets old.
No, it really doesn't. All right. Who's first? Who's got something to show on their desk?
Do you want me to?
Jason, what's on your desk?
Okay, go with the smallest one first. Okay, so right on my desk at the moment is a TFT screen that I plan on soldering onto this guy later. And that'll make more sense later when I talk about my Halloween project. But yeah, this is what's sitting on my desk at the moment.
Hold that thing up. How large? Hold that up to the camera. How big is that? About a 2-inch screen? Maybe a 3-inch? Probably.
Yeah, like 2.5 by 1.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Not bad. So it's a fairly small one though. Okay.
Yeah, and these are fairly low cost, right? They have OLEDs that they sell for the same size. They're a much higher resolution, but I think for like 2 or 3 times the cost. So
okay, how much does that one run? Just a $5-10 or more?
Yeah, somewhere between 5 and 15 for one. Somewhere around
That's
there.
not too bad. So I don't have any of those. I'll have to look into those. Now I also noticed on there, if we can, Mark, can we make Jason a little larger here and have him hold that thing up close? Flip that around. What's that green tab on there? Is that a plastic cover? Is that some film that's covering it?
Don't start with this again.
Yeah, it sure is.
I feel like it's going to start something. Yeah, it's just protective film. So until you're done.
So now you've been on several times, but you may have missed ones where we talk about this.
Yeah.
You never take that film off. You always keep the film. No, you keep the film on.
Maybe it's time.
David's got a thing.
Take it out.
No,
should I at least clip off the green?
If you peel it off,
if you feel like you need to get rid of the green tab, that's fine.
No,
but
you should peel it off while he's watching. Hold
on. I'll have to. I gotta duck out of the way. Don't do it.
Yeah.
It's tragic.
David is allergic to this.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
We don't want to
man.
use the term nuts, but
I like how you dropped it in as like we're not going to use that word.
yeah,
but we
we're not
just
going to
did.
say he's crazy.
But he is.
But yeah. It's
Awesome.
the thing. That's like mayonnaise and Miracle Whip. You peel it off or you don't peel it off, and either you
Yeah,
like
you're either a mayonnaise or you're a
right.
miracle. Keep it on. Look in the comments. I shot
Yeah,
JR knows what's up. It says keep it on.
I
I think it's
I have two things for what's on your desk.
2 things? All right, you want to
Yeah.
go next? Go ahead.
One is this, and it's on my
and it's awesome.
today and tomorrow. When you push an app, do a balena push. Instead of seeing Charlie the unicorn, you'll see this Peter the Pumpkin, or I don't know what.
Yeah,
What's
is
the
that
name? Name it, John.
What is that?
It's the pumpkin, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
I
So
am
any
doing a
push you do today,
I'm doing a balena
Balena
push
push.
right now.
Right.
I know.
I'm on my other laptop. Can't see
I
the
know.
screen, but it's going right now.
So yeah, try that today. The other thing I have, when we had our Balena Summit remotely this year, they produced Inky Shots for everybody. An Inky Shot is a LCD screen, a small LCD screen, e-ink screen.
Yeah, look at that.
And they made these. They printed these cases for us, and inside is a Raspberry Pi Zero.
What a set,
W.
John.
You gonna zoom in for me?
Yeah,
Thank
there we go.
So,
Yeah, I'm on there.
and what they did, they
Sorry.
put them all in a single fleet. So everybody in Balena got this, and they would push out a message to everybody simultaneously, and everybody could see it, which is pretty cool. But since it ended, I repurposed it. But I put the same application on here, which is Inky Shot. And one of the default ways you can use that app is weather. And by default, it'll use your IP address to pull in the proper, location information and stuff. Although I did put in the latitude and longitude just to make it more accurate. So this thing is interesting too, because even though it's plugged in right now, I can unplug it and it'll preserve the image on the screen. It won't refresh because it's e-ink. It's just like your Kindle.
So now 34 degrees is pretty cold.
Yeah, it's damn ass cold. I say that. It looks warmer out, but I was like, "Is this thing on?" I think it is on. But yeah, it's cold today.
Holy cow! I mean, it's going to be probably
And that's-
close to 100 Fahrenheit.
That's 34.
Here, so
34 Fahrenheit for you.
Fahrenheit.
folks.
Yeah.
It's a good thing you grew out your hair then.
Yeah.
Capture some more warmth.
Exactly.
Dude, I need it's either this or a hat.
This new guy's got attitude.
Yeah. I don't know if I like this new guy. All
All
right.
right. So let me show you something very quick that I found on a box from last week. That was the last conference that I attended, and that was the goodie that they were giving away. So it's this. I went to Singapore at the Sigfox Connect. And actually, this is a connected button to the internet through Sigfox that costs $1. So they made it happen to make like super simple devices, like a button that you pulse it and it sends messages to $1 cost. So I think that was a good milestone, at least. Let's see.
Pretty neat.
So that's I shot Janger. Why didn't John dress up or anything? So I mean, that reminds me of the Amazon Dash buttons, where press button connects to internet, something occurs. So for $1, obviously that's cheap enough. What is the default activity that it is supposed to perform in the?
What's it do, man?
Yeah, what does it do? Okay, great. You push the button, it connects to the internet, but then what?
No, it sends a bit. So then when you get that information that it's 1 bit, it's a 1, then you can do whatever action that you want to do from there. So it's a kind of, you can connect that with if this and that or things like that.
Okay, so it's just a
simple
here's the button. and it has some Wi-Fi connectivity of some sort, and then you got to figure out the rest on your own. Well, no wonder it's $1. Okay, they make you do all that. All right, that's
Well,
fine.
how do you connect it? Like, so you got the button, right? But how do you set it up to use like your Wi-Fi or your phone?
No. It uses a technology called Sigfox. That it's a low power weight area network technology. Like, I don't know if you know LoRa or NB-IoT.
Okay.
So this is so in theory there are towers around me that give coverage to this. So this, and it's low power because there is no handshake between the button and a router or antenna or something like that. Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or whatever, they are not low power.
Now,
So-
I'm biased because I've been watching the Blacklist. When you push the button, can they find out where you are and come get you? Is that?
Kind of. It's there is no GPS, so if you put GPS, it's not $1. It costs much more.
They can locate you based on that button press. Okay.
Well, how's the coverage of Sigfox where you are?
It's pretty good, yeah. Europe is very good. US is another story.
Barcelona. Yeah, that's cool.
Mhm. What else, Alan? What do you have on your desk?
I just have a little something. I'm always getting little devices. I will pull this out. It's
Yeah, let me zoom.
HDMI to USB adapter. Apparently, it's driverless, basically, so it just shows up as any other video device. And I haven't even opened it up yet. A little free unboxing video.
Yeah, look at that.
Cool.
So HDMI in, USB out. And the big thing with this is it's just $19. So it gives you a way to put video into one of your Raspberry Pis or really any device. Works in Linux, Windows. I don't know about Mac, but it's cheap and it's a great little utility if you just need to get some video into a device. So I look forward to testing it out. But $19, why not?
Yeah.
I've used those to add HDMI capability to, when I needed a second monitor on something.
All right, sure. Well, I think this is in. I'm not sure. It's a capture card. I don't know if it would work the opposite direction. That'd be interesting to see.
Give a sec, David. You're showing something.
Yeah, I got the pumpkin. I got the balena. It worked. All right. Unfortunately, the container is full of errors, but the push worked. A lot of red on the Python that I was attempting to push. So we'll troubleshoot that later. But the push itself worked. Just the container itself, I don't think is going to run as intended. But we got him. He needs a
nice
name.
T-shirt, David. By the way.
Yep. Batman. I do have a cape as well.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah, it's got a cape.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, and it also had the mask, but that has gone missing. Couldn't find it. So, all right.
So let's start with Halloween projects, if that makes sense. So Jason, you're first. Show what you have on to celebrate Halloween.
All right, so let me spin this up in the background here. Okay, so while I spin this up, I'll just describe what this is. So the original Halloween project was this from last year. Right? It was a candy dispensing machine that had a camera inside it. When someone got, when it first saw someone, it would say like, "Hey, come closer." And then when you got close enough, it would make a kind of a vomiting sound and candy would dispense from here.
Awesome.
So this year, the plan was to kind of polish it off, make it a little bit better. So I deconstructed everything and then, of course, got distracted. So I've made a different version, one that I can hopefully push up to Balena so that anyone with a monitor and a camera would be able to do. So instead of a candy dispensing robot, we got just kind of like a scare robot. Okay, so I got my server up and running in the background. Let me just turn it on. So we should see the eyes pop on in a little bit. Okay, so you guys can see that. Yeah. So this is Pi Eyes. Their code and some of the hardware stuff is talked to on Adafruit's website. I'll have to dig up the link later when we talk. But this is a great little program that someone has created for displaying eyes.
Oh man!
And
Are those eyes following you?
So what
Yeah.
I've done is I've taken Always AI's computer vision and running a Docker container with it, and it's routing information to the eyes to tell it where to look. So wherever I'm moving, it'll try to track basically.
Come on! Oh wow!
And if I turn on the audio,
So
And then
freaky.
You have a
The
scary
eyes are-
music as well.
The eyes are really good too. The
Yeah,
irises
those eyes
and
look
everything.
great.
maybe my speakers are dead. So anyways, I got audio connected from last year's. Oh, it kind of goes off. I don't know if you guys can hear it from where. But let's see if I can move my microphone closer to the.
Nice microphone.
Yeah, Halloween microphone.
It's what's on your desk worthy.
Yeah.
What is
So
it?
what should be the sound? So can
Yeah.
you reproduce it yourself or?
Yes. So one of my friends who helped work on this last year, he did a bunch of recordings. Initially just a test, but then we all thought like, oh, you've got a great kind of deep, semi-scary voice. So we'll just
Wait, bring your microphone back.
Yeah,
now we
put
can
your
barely hear
microphone.
you. Bring your
Oh, sorry.
microphone back.
Yeah, a friend of mine did the audio recordings, and he helped with the coding last year. Let's see if I can name the microphone.
Yeah, I could barely like faintly detect something there in the background. So I mean, you can tell it's doing something.
Yeah, I gotta fix the audio. And we got to do some new recordings because it still wants to do kind of the vomity sound when you get close, which is not at all appropriate at the point. So we're gonna replace it and do like boo, scare, and screaming and all sorts of things too.
Yeah, some
That's awesome.
like bone, chilling screams would be awesome.
I'm fascinated
Following the
that sickle
blondies.
is an overlay. I thought that was on your wall, and I just
Oh,
realized that's an
yes.
overlay. On
No,
the
that's an
video.
overlay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a graphic actually. My brother did. He's a graphics designer up in San Francisco, so every once in a while I'll
Oh,
steal
perfect.
some image assets from him.
And then how's it on there? OBS or what are you pulling that through?
Yes, yeah, OBS.
Yeah.
Good call.
Neat. Yeah, we've experimented with it. My OBS skills are lacking though, but pretty cool. Nice.
Yeah, it's a nice free open source
Yeah.
feature. But yeah, it does take, you kind of have to train yourself up on it. 'Cause
Yeah, exactly.
it's almost like a little mini personal digital video studio, right?
And I'm not exactly skilled at that stuff. So I started to explore it and play around with it and quickly realized I was in way over my head. So,
Jason, we have a question about from Alex that probably you already explained, but can you explain in more details all the workflow of your project?
okay.
You want to dive in a little bit on the computer vision aspect?
Yeah.
Yes, I probably should have prepared a chart because this ended up being a little more complicated than I was expecting, which I think Mark realized. Mark, did you look at the code? I can't remember.
No, I didn't have time, so I was struggling as well with another code.
Okay.
Could be on another episode, so I will not.
Okay, no, it's all good. I definitely need to add some more details to the README file. Okay, so, all right, so the core part of this app is a Flash server, and the Flash server controls the Pi eyes, right? It turns it on, and it allows a REST endpoint to tell you which direction to put the eyes, right? And then it's also got the audio logic inside that Flash server. And the reason I put in the Flash server is because the Always AI computer vision system runs in a Docker container, and I'm just terrible at Docker. I have some issues getting third-party libraries and stuff to work. So I couldn't get the audio library that's kind of controlling the audio here to run properly in the container. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to have the detection run, and when it makes the detection, it's just going to fire off a URL request to a server of my choosing and just pass in the center, the basic sort of tracking information and send that over to the Flash server that controls the eyes. And then the eyes will take that and then basically, tell the eyes where it should be looking.
That's cool.
So that's the general workflow.
Cool,
Nice-
but with
nice
a REST
workaround.
API, so you are polling all the time, or it's or there is a WebSocket, or
It could do a website. I just did just simple REST calls because I had previously built a demo app at Always AI that fired off a REST call. So, when it was at 1 a.m. and I'm like, okay, I just need to get something working. I'm just gonna.
I know.
Like we all just throw things together.
We know the feeling. I mean, you literally just saw one of my containers that I wanted to have running for today spit out a bunch of red errors. So, yeah, we know.
Really good project.
Yeah.
So we have
cool.
another project. Alan, what do you have on? What do you have on?
Let me show you
pumpkin?
what I have here.
Oh
This
my
is-
God. Wait. Sorry.
Wait, make that larger.
This
What
is-
is that pumpkin doing?
This is actually, I'll bet, the same eyes that Jason is using.
Yeah.
It's
See if
still
I
about
can-
dies.
This is using actually the same LCD, I believe, that Jason showed. This is the, I think it's 1.4-inch square LCDs, 2 of them, and we're connected to a Raspberry Pi 3A, I believe, because space was an issue. The
Smaller
less
one.
often seen Pi
Yeah,
3 version. But
I've
let me
got
take.
one on my desk.
So these are real pumpkin, right?
It's a
Yeah,
real
is that a
pumpkin.
real pumpkin?
It's
Yeah.
a real pumpkin. It's a smaller
minute.
pumpkin. I had a full-size pumpkin, but it experienced some kind of rotting issue. It just started to rot from the outside in. My wife wouldn't let me bring it into the house. She said, "You're not bringing that in here." So I left it outside. I was going to do more carving, and then some animals started chipping away at it. So it's in nasty shape, really bad shape. I mean, it
Yeah, you know
smells.
what? I got to be honest. I don't blame her. It doesn't sound like that's something I would really want in the
It's
house.
For
either.
science, it has to be brought
Yeah,
in
but-
for science and technology. But
Yeah.
There's a special stink that comes with that, man.
It was bad.
So
Black
now there's
mold.
animals eating it. So okay, yeah. Let's just leave that one outside. So you got a smaller one, but it's still
Yeah.
okay. So that's a real pumpkin. You just stuck electronics in a real pumpkin. Aren't you worried that they're?
I am, because it's damp, it's moist in here. I thought I heard something crackling. So if you're doing this at home,
Okay. Well,
make sure you let it dry out for a day or two. I literally
Yeah.
carved this about an hour and a half ago. Stuck this in here.
Really sweet.
But
yeah.
let me just take a moment to take some of the stuff out of here,
They'll
just to show
forever
you
smell like
what's
pumpkin.
going on.
Yeah, before things start burning. All right, while you're pulling those guts of it out, I'll show off real quickly a Pi 3A, although I suppose you may, in fact, extract one from that pumpkin real soon. But yeah, the 3A is the smaller one. I used this a couple of weeks ago at ARM Dev Summit, and it's only...
Sorry.
Hey, where did I go?
No problem.
We have
Sorry.
Now, yeah. John,
Yeah.
careful.
I was trying to zoom in on you. There you go.
There we go. A single USB port, and it also eliminates the Ethernet port. So it has onboard Wi-Fi.
You have a Pi 4 to compare it?
Is your connectivity? I
Maybe
should.
not a banana.
Yeah.
Because it's actually wider but shorter, right?
No, it's the same width. I do have a
Oh.
Pi 4 here, actually. Yeah. So let's see if I can get them both facing the same direction here. So it is the same width,
Okay.
but
A
definitely
lot shorter.
shorter. Yeah.
Okay. Like.
I can't tell if I'm on
Forward,
camera or
maybe.
not. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
That's
camera.
what allowed me to get that into this pumpkin, since it's
Yeah.
so small, was that smaller
Actually,
form
I should
factor.
go the other way around. Is what I should do is like this, and then try to see if I can.
Did you need the power?
There
Alan?
we go.
Oh, sorry, David. Yeah, how did you get the power?
You see this? I just put a tiny hole in the back for the power cord.
Okay,
But
cool.
here we go with this is the guts, and you
This
notice
looks like a mess.
it's kind of has entrails all over it right now. But
Oh.
say that. So here's the 3A right here, and you notice it has the Pi Eyes bonnet on here. That's something that Adafruit makes that allows you to easily drive these displays without a lot of hardware fuss. Right here, these two eyes. We have this repo in our playground if anybody's interested. in trying to reproduce
who's
it
buzzing
with
him?
LCDs.
It's buzzing.
It's been a while, so I think there's a lot of pent-up buzzing going on.
A lot of pent-up demand for the buzzer.
But I also wanted to mention a little bonus that I added to this repo. This
Awesome.
is the LED alerter is also added to this, so you can remotely change these LED colors, so the inside of your pumpkin can change colors based on these LEDs. There's a public URL, which I can...
What is
Wait,
the
so
URL?
we can buzz your pumpkin now? Hang on a
Oh,
minute.
not buzz. Change the color.
I'll change the light of his
change the
pumpkin.
color of the pumpkin.
All right, we're
brilliant.
gonna need a link. We'll
Yeah.
we'll give Alan a moment here to get the repo,
Okay.
and then
Get that going.
get the link for that. We'll be able to buzz Alan's pumpkin. I mean, change colors of Alan's pumpkin.
If it doesn't...
Can you add a buzzer?
yeah.
Well,
think
maybe
the-
it's
I mean,
time
can we
to go
get
to
a-
the supermarket and buy a bigger one. Maybe.
Could we get a buzzer?
You don't want a buzzer. You want a sound file, man.
Yeah,
I think a sound file would be good. Yeah, that would be great. Like a scream or something. Would be awesome.
Oh yeah.
Or a,
Yeah.
if you're able
Mount
to
a giant-
trigger that stuff.
speaker under your seat that we could press for
Yeah.
fetching screams.
Yeah.
I shot JR is just buzzing the traffic light. Is this you? You shot
I
JR?
don't know who's buzzing it. It must be
So-
I shot JR.
Alan, did you just is the buzzer just another container, another service, or is it multiple containers? Like how many containers do you have running on that thing? And I was curious.
Yeah.
I was curious because I was wondering if like a Pi Zero would work, or did you need more horsepower?
A Pi Zero would work. None of this is too taxing, but the eyes would be much slower on a Pi Zero because it's using a lot of OpenGL. So the Pi Zero, you can definitely notice that the eyes stutter a bit. It's still workable, but a 2 or 3 would be better.
Yeah. So
And,
that's actually a good point. So Jason, if we come back to you, then what are you using? A 3? What were?
Yeah, 3B plus, and you can see I've got the Intel Neural Compute Stick for the computer vision.
Okay, so that's yep, that's what I was going to ask. Okay, so you do have, because of the AI portion of it, you've got an NCS on there. I don't have one
Yeah,
on my
and
desk. Any other day of
you'll-
the week I have one.
You almost need it
That's
with this setup, or a large fan attached to the computer, because both, the eyes themselves are pretty taxing, right? As Alan mentioned, and then you throw computer vision on top of it. The good thing about the compute stick is it'll kind of offload some of the work, and the heat will dissipate from it. But
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, but there was like a little icon that kind of showed up only like 2 minutes in. The unit was already overheating. So I was like,
yeah, you might need to add a heat sink and a fan then.
yeah.
The one day I don't have a NCS stick on my desk. Go figure.
Alan, I've got, maybe we'll talk later, but I definitely have questions about putting all the bonnet together because
Sure.
I didn't see very much hardware instructions on Adafruit. They just sent me, like a bunch of pieces. I'm like, okay, I'm going to look at the picture. I'm just going to solder everything to what looks like their setup. And that might end disastrously.
Yeah, I'd be glad to help. It's a nice little piece of hardware for this project, so it makes things a lot easier.
Yeah, your setup looked like, I was like, wow, did you actually have to put anything together? Because it just came, just with the board and a bunch of pieces in the ribbon. And so I was looking at the instructions. Okay, like, so where does this go?
Yeah, I know it can be confusing. There's an awful lot of holes on that bonnet, and not a lot of info as to where to put those. But they do have a tutorial somewhere that I've seen, which is helpful. But I can definitely guide you because I actually did it last night, so it's fresh in my mind.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll totally reach out to you because I totally
Absolutely.
plan on burning this tonight.
How much is the bonnet?
I think the bonnet with the LCD screens were like 55 altogether.
Yeah, the bonnet alone is about $7 or so. So the bonnet's
it?
not the expensive part of the package.
Okay, these must be more expensive than I thought they were.
Yeah, I think they're like $15 each, maybe, for those LCDs.
Okay, yeah, no, that's about right.
All right, I dropped a URL in.
But how can we say that?
I left it over here so people can see it. You can change it.
Hold on a minute. Let me get
It changes.
Let's see if we can make you a little bit larger. It's far. Well, I don't know. Let's see if we can see it change. You might need to bring it closer. Oh, there it goes. It's going. We can.
It has more of an effect when it's inside the pumpkin and it's dark. It makes a big difference. But this is using just the LED alerter container that we have in another project. And then we have a great article about combining projects in a Docker Compose. And that's basically what I did, just taking the two projects and combining them together. But I'd be glad to post the final combined one on the playground as well, if anyone's interested.
Yeah, perfect.
And you had plenty of GPIO capacity to connect everything on.
Well, that's a consideration. The bonnet with the eyes actually uses a number of GPIO channels, so you have to be really selective with the 3 LEDs to find the GPIOs that aren't being used by the 2 eyes. So it's a challenge, but it's doable, of course.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool, man.
Thank you.
It's really cool that you opened the public URL.
I can't wait.
iShotJR can play during the stream.
We're patiently waiting for the buzzer version of it, or the
Scream.
audio file, the scream version of it. Yeah, for the scream.
Yeah, the pumpkin doesn't have a buzzer. Sorry, I know there's questions. Yeah, I didn't get to that yet.
It's pretty smart.
He's already trying. He's already trying to buzz it. Well, we'll get it. We'll get it fixed up with more audio effect in the future. That's all right.
Yeah,
the multi-project, multi-container and multi-project really brings up a lot of things. Because, for example, if you set this thing outside, like a combination of these 2 projects, Jason and Alan's, you could have somebody, you could have a screen when somebody came within a certain distance, or the motion was detected. And randomizing some of that stuff, I could imagine that wouldn't be too hard to do.
That would be good mixture of projects.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to find that blog post real quick.
Especially this year, where we're not anticipating getting any trick-or-treaters, or very few, which is a shame because it's a Saturday night. It's like the most ideal Halloween day for kids, but we're not anticipating getting any because of COVID. Be curious to see. But I thought, any one of these projects would be good to hide in the dark.
Mm-hmm. So here is, I'm putting in the link, the URL to the blog post, so folks can grab that, and that'll show you how to combine projects. And it should
that's a really interesting blog post.
Yeah, I'm glancing at it as well. There should be a sample Docker Compose. Yep, it's in there. So you can grab that URL there. Okay.
Jason, didn't yours? Did you say yours dispensed candy as well?
The last year model did, yes. But you can see here I dismounted the motor, and I was planning on creating a new 3D printed mount to put it into this guy, but I just didn't get around to designing it. So this motor has no way of dispensing any candy.
Right. That's perfect for what, John, you were saying. Something that dispenses candy in this year's environment is a big plus.
Yeah, good touch-free contact pumpkin giving you the candy. That's true.
Yeah, and motion detection is particularly interesting. Because you could have a light go on when people come within a certain distance of your bowl of candy. Yeah,
that's really cool. By the way, we have a new streamer here on the IoT Happy Hour.
Yeah,
welcome to Vipul.
Oh, who's down there?
How are you, Vipul?
Very good, actually. But I'm checking out John. He looks a bit different.
Hey,
we just had a call.
Dude, I'm just dressing down today, man. Yeah. This is how I usually look.
This is how he usually looks. Yeah, haven't you been watching previous episodes, Vipul?
Yeah. I took off my bald wig, man, and I just let my hair.
Yeah. John is letting his hair down.
Yeah,
So
literally.
Vipul, introduce yourself as a balenista, please. What do you do at Balena?
Yeah, I basically make memes, but let's not talk about that. I am a software developer at Balena, and I've been here, let's see, 7 months now. And I've been working on a project for testing hardware and software. It's called TestBot. And we work with several teams around, and I also help around with documentation. Yep.
And we have the pleasure to have Vipul here today because he's going to lead the Charlie tips and tricks.
Yeah.
Yep.
With the music, David. Can you sing a song or?
No, I don't know the song for it. We haven't even come up with the song for it yet. Well, I mean, John looks like a rock star, but literally, I don't know the words. What are the words going to be? We have to like still
Three
the song.
coins in a fountain.
All right, Vipul. So what's the Halloween tip and trick for Charlie today?
We don't even have Charlie today. We got a pumpkin today.
It's called Balena Pumpkin.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with sharing my screen, and we're going to talk about how you can save space and bandwidth by downloading images. And it's sort of close to my heart. As in, when I first started out, I didn't have a very good internet connection, so I was looking for ways how I can still work, download balenaOS images, or provision as many applications as we can, right? So let's say I'm an application. This application is called Bro. I didn't have much time for a better name, right? So what our usual flow is, we go to this Bro application, we choose our device. Okay, we want balenaFin, even though the default application is something else. We will probably switch back to it. Let's say we want a Raspberry Pi 4. We select the OS we want. We select which version we want, and then we download. And we also select the Wi-Fi and Ethernet. We put our credentials in, we put development production, and then we download our image. So for this is from a more of a customer perspective, who start or create new applications every day. Maybe they're doing it for testing, production. Even if you're an enthusiastic user, you start by creating a lot of applications, and this tends to become a lot more. You get like a folder, something like this. You have about 10, 30,
that's
40
nothing.
images.
Yeah, that's
nothing. You should see my dashboard. You have seen my dashboard.
I
All
have
of you
seen
have.
your dashboard.
Yeah, it's a lot.
and this becomes very quick. And this is not even sort of a abnormal practice. It's just what is there. We change versions quite a lot. We have a lot of updates coming in. We have a lot of devices as well that we support. So how do you save space and bandwidth? And this all amounts to about 5.4 gigabytes. Let's say David has about 20 to 30 applications. This number tends to become a lot higher. So in this Charlie tips and tricks section, I was thinking, I will introduce you to our friends at the Balena CLI, who has made this command called balenaOS configure. We will talk about what it does. We will have a very small hands-on demo. But what it does is it configures a downloaded balenaOS image to a particular device type on an application. So you don't have to download, or even us balenisters, we don't download application images again and again. We just have one unmanaged image downloaded, and we can configure that. So for an example, I can show you around. Let's say our application was Raspberry Pi 3. I hope this downloads in the time I have for this section. Okay, we are seeing 1 minute. That's good enough. So right now what we are downloading here is we are at balena.io/os, a familiar page, and what we are doing is we are downloading the unmanaged operating system. So you would ask me, what is the unmanaged operating system? Unmanaged operating system is the images that we have which are not configured and which don't have the config.json baked inside them. So the image doesn't know, okay, which application do I hit or which application do I go to? So when we download it from here, these are managed operating systems where these have configured applications where we add, okay, this is the Wi-Fi Ethernet password you want, we want the development image, and we want it to be on this application. So how do we sort it out? So in this, we have gotten it downloaded. I've already downloaded it, so it's on the desktop right here, and it's missing, so no worries. Desktop, here it is. So we have the downloaded image here, and what we will do with the command that I showed you. Let's head over to the command, check what it is. So it configures our previously downloaded image. That's what we downloaded right now for a specific device type or a Balena application. You can have several different things as well. You can give it your own config.json. You can read more about the config.json in one of the links I will send you. And you can have different.
I'll drop this URL in. Let me grab it. Yep.
And it's actually a great command to have it in many different ways. You can tweak the versions, you can tweak config.json, you can even tweak what type of internet connection you want. So let's go back for our demo. Our image right here is in desktop. It's the Balena Cloud Raspberry Pi 4 version 2.58. And what we will do is we'll do balenaOS configure, and then we type the image name, which is Balena Cloud Raspberry Pi 4 that we just downloaded. And let's say we want to have it for our app, for our application that we made. And my application is called Bro. You can have it for any application you like, and just click enter. And what it will ask you, it will start opening this image and it will start configuring it for you. So it's pretty easy. You just do
awesome.
SSID. You enter whatever. Like if you want Ethernet, you do Ethernet. If you want Wi-Fi, you do Wi-Fi. Here, and that's it. You have created an image for your application, and you can just flash this image through Etcher and push it, or just get it online on the device. You don't have to download images now. And this really helps out when you're downloading a lot of images, and you can reconfigure it again. Like you can.
I was just going to ask that. So now you just configured that application, but what happens if you need it for a different app, or switch the Wi-Fi, or
Yep. So you can have that as well. We have a couple of applications here. These are all tests, so no worries. Let me see if they are all good. These are all good. Let's create one up. If David asks us, it will be called Pumpkin. I have Pumpkin on my mind.
Yeah.
And
I don't know why.
We'll put balenaFin. It wouldn't work out because the image that we just downloaded, it's for something else. But for a demonstration purposes, you can have it for as many applications as you want. So from a pro side of things, or from a Balena side of things, I can show you how we do it. Is I have all these, and I'm not sure if I should. Okay, this is good enough. Like this is all the images I have. So if it's a text too small, I can tell you this is Intel Nuke image, this is a Raspberry Pi 2 image, and these are all unmanaged. So what I do is, let's say I created this application, right? This is a new application I did. So I don't go and just download a new image. What I do is I try to search for one of the balenaFin images that I must have downloaded. Here it is. I have a 2.87. The balenaFin has come a long way from 2.87. So what we will do is we will take this and we will put it out there on the desktop. I like to. It's an easier path. Otherwise, you can do it anyway. Yeah. And also, I don't know the terminal command for unzipping. So I just use the UI for it. Yep. Probably gonna forget it just after this call. And balenaOS, just do balena.img. So right now, okay, configure. So you just have to specify what.
The biggest question I have here is not about configuration. What OS are you running?
Oh, this is Pop OS.
Pop OS, huh?
Yep. I think.
It is.
I don't have screen touch.
I know it is.
So when you're running balenaOS configure, is it reconfiguring that image, or is it creating a new image?
Oh, that's a good question. So what balenaOS configure does, it just, I think, opens the image up and it adds a configuration file to it and then configures the image for it. So it does not create a new image. If you can see right here, I can't show what changed in this, but this is the only image that we are creating. I can flash it. I can use this image. I can flash this image through Etcher and then put the exact same memory card inside one of my devices, and then it will boot up inside this same application.
So you're
quite nifty way.
The files the zip files remain unchanged, which allows you to reuse them by extracting essentially new raw images that you run balenaOS on. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
it's cool.
It's something I've felt in the very start is why we have to download new images all the time. With this way, you can actually This is not even about saving space and bandwidth. It saves a lot of time, because now you don't have to wait for new image to be downloaded, then you extract it or you flash it and you get started with it. It's fast. We know it. We made it that way. But if you have a lot of applications to add devices to, maybe you can try this method where you just use the CLI. You add what app you want to add your image to, or what it should link to, and that's it. It will ask you for what network connection you will like, and you'll choose Ethernet again, and that's it. Whenever you put this image, you flash this image into the memory card, and whichever device you put the memory card into, I hope the right device, it will go into Pumpkin. And it seemed like a bit of a magic, but it has a lot of good code that the folks at Balena CLI has written, which you can read right here. We have a lot of arguments in place where you can tweak. Let's say who you want for a particular device type. You can also specify your own configuration. So that's something of a advanced tips and tricks. But yeah, you can do that as well.
That's really cool, man. As a tip and trick.
Really awesome.
Very cool, man. You can stay with us till the end of the episode if that's okay for you.
Yeah, you don't have to. We're not kicking you out.
We have a couple of questions before going to the last demo from John, actually. We have still 15 minutes, but we had a question from Arijit, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, off-topic question. How I can program the coprocessor on balenaFin running Raspbian? That's a very good question, actually. But yeah, Harijit, why don't you use balenaOS? But having said that, I think you can. Actually, if you go to let's post it on the chat. If you go to the Thin Flash coprocessor, I think you can do it from here. You have to follow the instructions, because it says we include the settings required for use on the Raspbian here too.
Yeah, I think I know of a link as well. One of our engineers, or one of my colleagues, actually made a small tutorial for, I think it's for programming BGM 111. That's on the balenaFin board. And let me post that. Maybe that can help Rajit out. I'm posting it on private chat, and then, yep.
Okay. Yeah, sure. And then we have another question that maybe, I think, David, you already answered for that. But yeah, scary problem with Intel Edison.
Yeah,
gold.
Yeah, the Edisons are old. They've been out of production for a couple of years now, if I remember correctly. It's not a device I've ever owned or used, so I don't know too much about the Edison. I don't know what the current support state of the Edison looks like, but I do see that Dejan has added an issue into the forum, so we'll do our best there to get it get you the assistance you need. I'll have to look into it. I just don't know too much about that device.
Yeah, and they were popular for a while, so there's actually quite a bit of stuff in forums and across Google on the Edison, because it was sort of, there was a period of time when it was the thing. So
yeah.
But it's no longer the thing, and a lot of this stuff is dated.
Yeah.
Which never happens on the internet.
yeah, exactly. So, but I had asked there to open up an issue on GitHub, but it looks like it must be some of the engineers. Like I say, I'm not familiar with the device, but it must have been some of the engineers helping out over on our own forums. So
Sure.
I'll go take a look at our forums later, and I'll try to find that post and see if we can get some guidance for you.
Cool. Yeah, if you have more questions, feel free. Or forums are a great place. So.
Yep.
So, John, but before that, Alan, what do you have on your hand? It's a pumpkin.
Just the top of the pumpkin.
The top of the pumpkin.
I thought it was a
did
mushroom,
brain surgery on the
pumpkin. Sorry, John.
No, that's all right. I was hoping it wouldn't throw
Sorry
itself
about
in
that.
there as I was doing it, but I put together a project. I looked at the Pi Eyes, which has a lot of really cool extensible capabilities, including the multiple eyes. There's a Cyclops version, and I thought, that'd be great if I could get it to work on a single TFT screen, because I don't have the two, and I knew that I wouldn't be able to get them in time for Halloween, because as always happens, you want to do this stuff, but you remember like 2 days before, and you kind of have to dig through your drawer and your basket of stuff. So I thought, I started working on a thing, and it was too complicated for the amount of time I wanted to give to it. And I thought, there's got to be a better way to just quickly add this capability to a Pi screen. And I was running Balena Dash, which if you've ever run that, allows you to run a URL. So I thought, well, if I can find an animated GIF, I can create a really simple thing and push it to that. And of course, once I did that, I thought that's kind of a bodge of Balena Dash, and it's oversized. So I put together using something we now call Balena blocks, which are these primitives that provide various capability. And the idea was to piece together 2 Balena blocks and then a web server to serve up this little web page with my
Hold on. What's a Balena block?
A Balena block is a primitive, and in this case, we now have about a dozen of these. If you want to share the URL for the blocks, one of them is a browser, which is a Chromium browser service. One is an FECP, which will actually enable you to display content on an attached display, which was part of my use case. And there are other ones as well, and you can take these blocks and you can assemble them into a Docker Compose to do just that. And I'm just going to switch over here to my Docker Compose. I don't know if you can see that. But one of the nice things about it is these images are from Balena blocks are pre-created, and it's browser, and I'm able to put the device type right within this. Pulls this down. This is the other Balena block, which does the display of the TFT. And then I built a simple HTTPD server on Alpine, which is about 55 megs or so. And the browser block not only provides Chromium, but it also is automatically listening, looking for port 80. If there's something being served up on port 80, it'll automatically serve it up. So so what I ended up doing, I did it initially on a Pi 3, then I had a fin lying around, so I put my screen on. So now you can see.
Wait a sec.
Yeah, hold on. Let's get him. There we go.
So I'm getting a lot of glare.
Yeah, it's getting some glare, but we can tell. I can see it.
Sorry.
Really cool.
So this is just an animated GIF with the moving eyes. It's not tracking me. It's not sophisticated.
It's not smart like Jason's.
It is cheesy and it is quick and dirty. But the idea was that if I got a bunch of these, and because it works on a single screen, it's very low horsepower. The Chromium container is not small, but everything else is pretty simple. And you can feed these things up, and like if you have a bunch of these, my hope is to put it outside for kids and stuff, so it would look sort of like there's a bunch of creatures in the woods. So as people walk by, they'd see these eyes. But I hesitate to even share this thing because it's kind of cheesy. But it did underscore, and I'm going to share my screen again here with the dashboard view of the fin to show you those containers that are up in live running. That's a little small. So down here,
I can see.
And what do you have why do you have an HTTP server? IoT, just to visualize the
it just serves up a little index.html page that has the GIF image in it. Now, one of the advantages of that browser block is you can actually serve up a file. Like instead of serving up from a web server in a separate container, I could just copy my little HTML file and eyes into a container. Now to do that, I'd have to create a Docker file template instead of using the Docker Compose, for example. But because the browser block also automatically listens on port 80, I knew as long as I was able to start a web server and it was serving up on port 80, it would automatically serve it up, and it was basically foolproof. And I did go through some scenarios. I'm like, what's the best way to serve up, to put a web server on there? Should I do like a Python, service module? Should I use Node.js? And, I settled on just running simple Apache on Alpine, for something pretty small. There's even smaller things you could do probably, but in this case. But the idea was I wanted to have cool eyes, but I didn't have the time or the skill to pull it off, and I didn't have the actual separate little eye screens. I was able to build something with what I have, and I believe, I have it running on the TFT on the screen, but I could easily just plug an HDMI into this if I wanted to make them on, something like that. I think it would drive that without a problem. But it was something that I thought was practical and in a kind of cheesy way. But it did give me an opportunity to explore the blocks and to add functionality very quickly without having to do any coding. Like the only thing I coded was the HTTPD container, which was, basically install packages Apache 2 and expose port 80. That's and start Apache in the foreground. That's it. Yeah, right. So sometimes you can get close to what you're looking for with a lot less work.
Yeah,
that's really cool. And actually, this opens, for the topic for the next episode. That if everything goes well, it will be an episode about an introduction of the Balena blocks, where hopefully Chris, the real Chris, will connect with other hardware hackers to talk about the Balena blocks and how all the community can get into use the current blocks that actually that you are added on the chat, and think on new ones.
So sometimes, in blocks make it really easy to experiment with a lot of different things very quickly. Because sometimes, when you think about what is it that I want to do, some of those components may be beyond your capability and your time constraint. But the idea of blocks too is to make them as extensible as possible. So like I added a tag specific for my type of screen, but there are a whole bunch of tags. So I didn't have to create a Docker file. I could just do it all in the Docker Compose and really provide, myself with a level of application that would have taken me a lot longer. And the extensibility means that it's not, this only works if you have a Pi 3 and you have this kind they're really designed to be broadly useful. So even if you're doing cheesy projects.
Yeah.
John, I feel like, I'm sorry, I'm kind of jumping here. I feel like you, Alan, and me should have talked ahead of time, and I just can only imagine the combination of all these three things, and just a forest of eyes would have been we may have to talk. We may have to talk before next Halloween.
We got a late start on it this year, admittedly, but next
it shows
year,
how it shows how you can accomplish the same thing or similar things in completely different ways with completely different equipment. And levels of expertise. That if there are things that you want to do, you can do it without having tons of horsepower, tons of devices, tons of knowledge. You can get there. There's a way to get there. But I would like, really cool, it's a good thing we're not neighbors, because I think the kids would be freaked out.
We're all tight.
Yeah.
Everything would
cool,
be.
It was all about eyes.
everything probably would be running in a fleet. So John will be the commander of ICE.
I think that might be the goal for next year, honestly, as a fleet of them all connected up.
Absolutely. Yeah, a fleet of eyes.
All right. Anything else, you guys? Looking at the clock, and we are right at the top of the hour. Any other
Questions from the audience?
questions? I didn't see any other questions roll in. Got everything covered, I think.
There's a shameless plug if you're looking for the cheap and dirty. It's on.
There's the cheap and dirty. All you need is the TFT display, and you're good to go. All right. Well, Mark, you want to close us out then?
Yeah, I think it was a great Halloween edition, the first one. Let's make it a tradition. Right?
Yeah.
And and maybe the goal for the next one is to have this fleet of maybe eyes, maybe pumpkins, maybe whatever, drones with So maybe next year, if we are still on lockdown, maybe we will need to have drones delivering candies. Who knows? Yeah. But let's try to make a tradition, and looking forward in 1 year to see more community people like Jason. Thank you for
thank you, Jason. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you. It was fun.
Coming to hang with us
and making this super amazing demo. It was funny. Yeah, maybe I can explain that when I was waking up, Jason was going to sleep and leaving me some codes and some comments like, "Hey, can you help here? Can you help there?" And it was fun to do this async. Try to help you. I don't think I didn't help.
It helps just even like talk through something, like in explaining things, right? It's like, wait, maybe I should do it this way, or like, gave hints of something like, oh yeah, that's a thread I can pull on. So I mean, it all helps. It all helps.
Yeah. And as well, thank you, Alan, for just opening a pumpkin at I don't know what time in the morning.
your screens in a pie.
Backup non-rotting pumpkin.
Yeah.
Do I smell baking pumpkin seeds?
Yeah. Pumpkin spice. All right, you guys.
But for sure, the audience needs a pumpkin with a buzzer next year.
Absolutely. We will definitely improve the pumpkin and include a buzzer of some type for next year.
And what else? Thank you, Vipul, to join. Looking forward to have you more times on the IoT Happy Hour.
Right.
Happy to be here.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good weekend. Good Halloween.
You too.
Bye.